The same exact environment. And this is just crossing path with helicopter. P.O.C. And that's why everyone at Alvarado Gardens that's engaging in criminal surveillance with this entity under the light source at 1:19 p.m. is going to federal prison, okay? That was Guzman of 1814 number 2. He's going to federal prison. He's of the majority age. That's Susan Martinez's adult son. She is also acting with 1808 number 1. That's Jung. She's crossing path. The light source is right over my head. As I'm walking, you've got Precious Bustillos. They're crossing path. The light source is over the same building. This is where it was at this morning at 8. Remember, I'm standing at my office door, 8:19 in the morning. Pay attention as I move, the light source moves. This is the same side of the building that it was on this morning. The pattern of conduct is that it evolves. It remains 6 hours, and then it's eventually getting to this side. Where it is, I move is where the light source moves, and that's also showing you what is demonic activity by a demon-possessed agency that provides ongoing documentation against the people of the state. And you're also focused on the presence where they're flying. They're not in alignment to my apartment anymore. They're alignment to me. We're in my office, and they're flying in around the perimeter in relevant position under a light source that is, and again, remaining duration of the day. The sun was rising this morning at 7. It is 1:20 p.m. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. That's 6 hours while you're looking at what is stalking in that environment. And the light source is not only here, it's remaining over me. And that law enforcement agency is monitoring and contact with the people who were stalking with the maintenance of amplified activity as I walked out of my apartment. The entity keeps the light source over my head as I'm at my apartment over there. You have 1808 number 1 who was in my path while that light source was over my head over there in front of, and over there is meaning my building 1806. This sky space is not visible from inside of my apartment window. This is this light source in the same way that you see it right now on this side of the apartment building 1810, which the natural environment would never consist of this present. It wouldn't even be here over the property, while the entity is providing corroborating evidence to what is criminal surveillance by the people of the state. Maintaining presence all around while they're walking and driving all around. Lorraine Pena, group stalking with a third party who's on the grounds under the light source. You see them come in and walk by my office, and I show you the light source. You see them coming in, or even using the telephone as a means of audible activity in the same way that amplified helicopter activity in the environment is the. This is the entity, this is the state that is monitoring in concert with the people who are maintaining criminal presence on a 24-hour basis, for which they are going to federal prison. They engage in this just like you saw the Abundance. I want to be clear, that was in the morning. It's the afternoon. The light source is still here, and they are monitoring with this police department who's providing ongoing corroborating evidence against them. This is the prosecution of the people of the state. Speaking to Alvarado Gardens. The people of the state are all covered in engineered light. None of them would have any sunlight. Oh, this is not sunlight. This is the engineered light that you see magnified on my bedroom wall with the leaves of trees through closed blinds after 10 hours of being on the property. Okay, that's the ongoing evidence against the people of the state. It's 1:22 p.m. and there is no sun that would be here. Again, another example on April 29, 2022, when Stephanie Ortiz, who's going to federal prison, participating in the same criminal conduct, engaging in what is criminal summoning, and at 1:17 p.m. the light source is directly over me as Fontana PD is arriving. Again, they're stalking in helicopter. They're stalking and maintaining a specific environment day and night everywhere that I go. And then they arrive while a third-party group stalker summons that entity that's stalking you day and night in helicopters and planes and sitting around engaging in surveillance in police vehicles, monitoring as you pull your panties down. And then they summon that same entity under the light source, which is over the Fontana Lewis Library at 1:17 p.m. It's 1:23 p.m. This is the evidence. Again, Precious Bustillos, everybody's going to federal prison. I've documented her so many times engaging in the pattern of conduct while she's holding the hands of her children, while she's living at a crime scene. That is the basis, period, for losing custody of the children with whom you are engaging in the state system of terrorism. There is no sun, no natural environment that would be on the same side of a building from the morning until the afternoon. There is no sun that would be over the same property from the morning until the afternoon. There is no sun that would create any sunlight on the inside of your apartment, anywhere in your apartment, on the ceiling, creating any pattern of light activity contrary to what you see, or creating multiple shadows, creating the leaves of trees on the ceiling inside of your apartment. That's no sunlight. That's engineered light. This engineered light is what covers the property while you're looking at what is stalking in that specific environment. And then you're looking at group stalking. Precious Bustillos crossing path. Jung Pak crossing path. You have 1814 apartment number 2 Martinez. I believe his name is Gonzalo. He's crossing path. This is the male that's walking by, and I'm showing you the light source that remains over me. And then you have what is LAPD crossing path in helicopter. And these are demons that are cooperatively patrolling. This is what they're doing while the light source remains directly over me. This is what demons are doing. And this is the demonic activity, which is also criminal monitoring, and it's terrorism while an entity is surrounding you with an environment. And you're looking at the light activity that's also in my office, which is not going to result if the sun is over the Fontana Lewis Library. Stephanie Ortiz is still subject to what is federal prison for a prolonged term while she's threatening my life, summoning the entity that is engaged in years of stalking and monitoring and criminal surveillance in concert with the people of the state. And that's why you have the light source here. Being over 1810 directly over my head is nowhere near the Fontana Lewis Library. The two are not occurring at the same time, and the entity is providing an ongoing wealth of documentation corroborating the criminal surveillance that is underway here at Alvarado Gardens, and everybody from buildings 1800 to buildings 1818 are going to federal prison. That's 59 units full of third-party group stalkers engaged in criminal surveillance on behalf of that entity that is engaged in a body of, engaged in a prolonged period of documenting directly the state engaged in the surveillance using helicopters, okay? Flying all around my apartment while I'm there under the light source. I come to my office, flying all around my office in alignment to me, following with the environment where I go, following, stalking in the path that is in helicopter as I go, as I move from place to place, and that's what the people are doing. They're not going anywhere. They're just going to their, the objective is to move around in the light. These are demons. You have the engineered light touching the crack in the door. The engineered light takes on the shape of whatever it's touching, and it hits flat on the ground. This is impossible light by itself. This is impossible light, but it's also impossible because the sun's over the Fontana Lewis Library, which is exactly what I documented again on April 29, 2022. And it's more than the Fontana Lewis Library because after April 29th, I continued to travel and make an example out of that same exact time. And under no circumstances would either of those iterations of the P.O.C. be the sun, the natural environment, but also it's not going to be the sun here remaining over Alvarado Gardens from the beginning to the end of the day. This sun is in alignment to my bedroom window, while again the entity flies in plain view for documentation to be submitted in federal court, not only against those third-party group stalkers who you see in still images, represented also by license plate. Lorraine Penny is group stalking with a third party who was on the grounds engaging in criminal conduct with that LAPD, and they're going to federal prison for that. That's exactly what I documented. Seconds later, the entity is crossing path audibly. LAPD is monitoring vicariously on an ongoing basis through the people of the state. Living at the crime scene is grounds of federal prison, all right? And all of the children that live here, as you see a third-party group stalker holding the hand of a child, that child is a group stalker, monitoring an American citizen, threatening their life on behalf of a government in concert with the government. Yes, you're removing those children from the custody of the people of the state, and they're going to federal prison, all right? And they will have a hard time ever regaining custody of those children also, because the impunity that's been demonstrated by the people of the state is also going to be evidence used against them if they ever make any sort of endeavor to try to regain the ability to actually have custody of their children and live with them and raise them. This is showing what is a threat they are to those children, the environment that they have them in, that the criminal activity that they are participating with them in, and on whose behalf. It's on behalf of the state engaging in terrorism and sexual violence. All right, it is currently 1:27 p.m. I'll upload that video of what is 1:17 p.m. where the entity is maintaining the light source over me. This is P.O.C.